A quick follow-on demonstration of the Cisco Finesse Supervisor desktop. The Supervisor desktop, as with the Agent desktop, is a browser-based application, and it contains all the agent capabilities, but it has some additional feature functionality which I'll quickly demonstrate. Now, the system administrator will determine, based on your onboarding, whether you are a supervisor or an agent. Your login procedure is the same as an agent. Obviously, when you log in, you will be noted as a supervisor and given that additional command and control. So in this quick demonstration, I'm going to share with you both the supervisor and the agent, putting a call through and having the supervisor handle that call from a supervisor perspective. So what you see here is the Finesse Supervisor desktop. It has same logistical command and control capabilities in terms of application selections, statistics, and other real-time information that are pertinent to the supervisor. And as I mentioned with the agent demonstration, all these readouts are customizable by your administrator. In addition to that, the telephony toolbar is exactly the same. It contains all the ACD functionality with the aux codes, as I mentioned, along with the ability to actually send out team messages to his or her team. Also, a chat feature, as I mentioned, making telephony calls, all that is the same. Same goes for the actual log out, extension identification, all that. Very similar to the agent. So what I'm going to do now is pivot over to the agent. The agent is logged in and ready to receive a call. So I'm going to place a test call in right now.
Thank you for calling Cumulus Finance. Welcome, Greg Burton. You will now be connected to one of our representatives.
The phone will ring and I will pick up. So I'm on an active call. I'm now going to pivot over to the supervisor desktop. Now in the team performance, this is a new report that the agent doesn't have by default. And it has basically the ability for the supervisor, who can manage multiple teams, the ability to select certain teams that he or she wants to manage. In this case, in this particular team, I have two agents. Sandra Jefferson is actually the agent, as I pivot back over, the agent that is logged in as an agent, as you see here. Now I'm going to pivot back here. And what we have here is obviously I'm in a talking state and a counter for currently what state I'm in, and actually the extension. Now, for a supervisor, there's additional capabilities here. I can actually see from a data perspective who that customer or who that agent is speaking to. So it's very similar, the same data that was actually, as I pivot back, same data that came in from the initial call through the Cisco IVR. If I wanted to take action on that, if I'm interested, I have the ability to monitor, actually sign out remotely that agent and view their history. So if I wanted to view the agent's history, again, this is Sandra Jefferson. Obviously, there's a couple calls that would pass through the system along with state change. So this is very helpful in observing any abnormalities in state. Are they in work state too long or after call work state? So this is a quick view perspective on the agent's workflow during and between phone calls. Moving forward here, if I'm interested in actually observing the phone call, I'm going to go ahead and click back a page here back to the agent who's still in a talking state. So I'm going to take the phone off mute here, and that is the call between the customer and agent Sandra Jefferson here. So I'm going to do that right now. You may hear some feedback, so I apologize in advance. And what I'm going to do is take an action of actually monitoring the call. Okay? So what does that mean? Is that I'm actually on a live call with the talking state for the supervisor. Now, if I'm interested in engaging further here, I have what's called margin, and that's the ability to actually go from a monitoring state of a two-party conversation into now a three-party conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm on a three-party conversation. I have two participants here. If I hovered over it, I have 1080, which is the actual extension for agent, and the 978 area code number, that is the actual customer's phone number. So it tells me quickly who is on the 2 or 3 party conversation. So at this point, I'm in a live conversation, and based on that phone state, I have all these features that I have with the agent, including the ability to transfer, single step, 2-step, also wrap up, if you would, as a supervisor. I could basically then drop the agent as an option if I wanted to have a conversation directly with the customer as part of any escalation, which let's say I'll do that. So the agent is dropped. So to verify that, I'm going back to the agent here. And as you see, the agent is not on the telephone call, back at a ready state. Now I'm pivoting back to the supervisor. I can then go forward and resolve the escalation, if you would, and end the call. I went from a times not after call to a not ready. And these are the same statistics that are available for the agent. This case, I have here real-time phone state. I also have cumulative reports here, which is a Q hourly. That is to measure SLAs, recent call history for his or her team, and recent state history again, in order to observe and identify any anomalies between state. This concludes the demonstration of the Cisco Finesse Supervisor desktop.